There is a moment, suspended between light and shadow, where ink becomes more than pigment. It becomes a whisper of the past, a silent scream of the scribe's hand, a secret that only the eyes of time can decipher. You see it, don't you? That strange shimmer, that iridescent glow, like the manuscript is alive, breathing through its own ink. It's not just writing, it's a spell, a relic of a world where words were not just read, but worshipped. These manuscripts were made with hands that knew how to make meaning out of nothing. They weren't just written, they were crafted, painted, and prayed over. Every mark, every stroke carried a weight of purpose. And yet, this ink, is more than a tool. It's a portal, a bridge between the scribe's worlds and the world we now inhabit, where the past is not lost, but hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. So let us look closely. Let us not just read, but see. Because in this ink, there is a story that has waited centuries to be told. And it's not just about words. It's about light, memory, and the quiet power of color. So what exactly are we talking about? Let me be clear. We're not discussing ink as a mere substance, but as a medium of transformation. Ink is not just black. It is a vessel of light, a bridge between the material and the imagined. These manuscripts are not static objects. They are alive with movement and intention. The ink is not just applied. It is infused with meaning, with a kind of quiet alchemy that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's not just the ink that shines. It's the way it interacts with the gold leaf, the lapis lazuli, the crushed minerals that were once mined and ground by hand. This is a material dialogue, a conversation between the earth and the human imagination. The inkwell, then, is more than a container. It is a crucible of vision. It is where the ink is born, where the artist's intent is given form, and where the manuscript becomes a window into a world of light and meaning. So, in this way, ink is not just a tool, it is an instrument of illumination, a medium that captures the iridescence of thought, belief, and artistry in a world that was once very dark. You might think ink is just ink, but it's a window into the soul of the scribe. Every stroke carries a quiet rebellion against the sterile page, a defiance of the mundane. These manuscripts weren't just books. They were acts of devotion, of artistry, of resistance. They were made by hand, for a world that often forgot the value of the human touch. Ink isn't just a tool. It's a language. It speaks in colors and patterns, in the weight of a single word, in the space between lines that breathe life into the page. When you look at these manuscripts, you're not just looking at art. You're looking at a bridge between past and present, a testament to the enduring human desire to create meaning. To ignore this is to miss out on a story that's been waiting for you, waiting to remind you that the world is still filled with beauty, depth, and the quiet power of ink. The inkwell, a vessel of both utility and artistry, was more than a tool. It was a silent witness to the evolution of knowledge and faith. From its earliest days in monastic scriptoria, it held the promise of transformation. By the 9th century, monasteries across Europe became crucibles of creativity, where inkwells were adorned with symbols of the divine, their surfaces whispering of sacred purpose. By the 12th century, the inkwell had become a focal point in the visual language of illuminated manuscripts, its iridescent sheen reflecting the ambition and artistry of the age. As the Renaissance dawned, the inkwell's role expanded beyond the scriptorium. It was now a bridge between the medieval and the modern, a symbol of both tradition and transformation. And so, the inkwell remained, silent, steadfast, a vessel of the imagination, carrying the weight of centuries in its dark, shimmering depths. Imagine a dragon made of ink, its scales shimmering like the night sky. That's what an inkwell looks like in an illuminated manuscript. When you look closely, the ink isn't just black. It's alive, glowing with colors that only magic can make. So the inkwell isn't just a tool. It's a magical key, unlocking stories that live in the heart of the page. In the end, the inkwell teaches us that even the simplest things can hold the magic of 1,000 worlds. The process begins with the preparation of the workspace, a quiet, dimly lit room where the air carries the scent of parchment and beeswax. The scribe arranges her tools with methodical precision, each item a vital part of the ritual. The parchment, a delicate sheet of cured animal skin, is laid flat upon the table, its surface still damp from the tanning process. It is a canvas waiting to be transformed, its texture a silent promise of the artistry to come. A small inkwell, crafted from polished stone, rests beside the vellum. Its surface glistens faintly in the candlelight, holding a deep, dark ink that will soon become the vessel of color and meaning. The scribe, draped in a simple woolen robe, kneels slightly to inspect the inkwell, her fingers hovering just above the surface, as if in reverence for the material that will shape her words. Before the first stroke is made, there is a moment of quiet intention, a recognition that this is not just a task, but a sacred act of creation, where the ink and the vellum are bound by purpose and patience. The next step in the process involves the preparation of the ink itself, a substance both ancient and refined, crafted from a blend of galnut, iron gall, and gum arabic. This mixture is then stirred with water and a small amount of iron sulfate, creating a deep, dark liquid that will soon take shape as ink. This vessel, though simple in form, is crucial to the process, as it maintains the consistency of the ink and allows for a steady, controlled flow. Once the ink is ready, the scribe will dip their quill into the well, allowing the ink to flow with precision and intent, shaping each letter with care. This moment marks the transition from preparation to creation, where the scribe's hand becomes the vessel through which the ink is brought to life. The final step in the process is where the true alchemy takes place, where science and art merge in a quiet, deliberate act of transformation. This layer acts as a delicate bridge between the solid ink and the air, allowing light to refract through it in unpredictable ways. This breath is not just a physical act, it is a ritual, a moment of connection between the maker and the material, a silent dialogue between hand and heart. The result is not a static image, but a living, breathing surface, where color does not sit, but dances, responding to the viewer's angle and light. This is the clever twist, where the ink does not merely appear, but reveals itself in a slow, deliberate, and deeply human act of creation. Beneath the shimmer of ink and gold, a silent chemistry is at play. These pigments, ground and mixed with gum arabic and egg white, are more than art. They are alchemy in motion. The lapis lazuli used in these manuscripts is not just blue. It is a mineral, a sediment of ancient mountains, ground into a powder that binds to parchment with a kind of quiet permanence. These materials, though seemingly decorative, are governed by the laws of physics. Light refracting, particles settling, reactions occurring in the quiet of a scriptorium. Each stroke, each glint, each layer of pigment is a fusion of hand and material, a marriage of craft and science that has outlasted the hands that made it. Imagine a single drop of ink falling into a pool of water. It spreads, it sinks, it blends, yet the color remains, just as it did before. This is how the inkwell's iridescence works in illuminated manuscripts. It doesn't vanish, it transforms, and leaves a trace. Like a ripple that doesn't erase the surface, the ink's color lingers in the parchment, not as a flat stain, but as a living echo of its origin. It is a material memory of the scribe's hand, preserved across centuries. It is not a trick of the eye, nor a trick of the mind. It is a truth of materiality. That color can be both seen and unseen, both present and absent, like a whisper that lingers after the voice has left. To call this a gloriously dumb analogy is not to belittle it. It is a simple image, but it captures something profound. The way ink, like memory, lingers, it changes, and it never truly vanishes. In the end, the inkwell is not just a vessel for color. It is a vessel for time, for touch, for the unseen weight of history, all captured in a drop, all remembered in a stain. Before you go, if you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell us in the comments what you'd like us to make next. We read every single one. Thank you so much for watching. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end.